staying until the last minute. My name is Nguyen, and the idea that I would like to share with you today is about building career breakthroughs from taking risks intelligently. So before I get started, I want to share that I hate risk. And so for me to talk about taking risk today is a different kind of story. I hate risk because of how I was brought up. This is me when I was 8-year-old, and when I was growing up, the biggest dream or the biggest career aspiration for me and for my sister, for my parents, is to become a teacher. To them, a teacher is an amazing job. It's a job that provides security and stability, that helped me have a good life, and then perhaps take care of my parents when they're old. And the reason why that was an aspiration is because of stability. This is a salt farm. Have you ever seen or been to a salt farm like this? Oh wow, that's quite surprising. A lot of people. This is what my parents did when I was growing up. They were salt farmer, and there was no stability in what they do. If there are rainy days or rainy weeks, there's no income. They make this salt and they sell it for 200 dong per kilo. So that's like 1 cent per kilo, and the income per month for my household was about $20. So stability was the aspiration for them. They want their child to grow up and have a stable career and a secure job. But I didn't follow that path because accidentally I became an entrepreneur. I've never thought about this when I was growing up. One day when I was 24-year-old, a friend of mine asked me, hey, do you want to start a company together? And I said, yeah, why not? That's how I got started. And then I followed that path, and I worked for other startup companies as well. Now it's almost 11 years, and I fall in love with entrepreneurship. I really love it, and I'll tell you why later. But entrepreneurship comes with risk. It's really big risk. 9 out of 10 startups fail. And doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how hardworking you are, if you start a company today, the chances you're going to fail. And this kind of risk keeps me up at night a lot, because I hate risk. But risks are worth it. And I'd like to share with you the type of breakthroughs in my career that I've managed to arrive to and continue to arrive that I've achieved through entrepreneurship. So I have 5 things here. So the first thing is emoji with the upside down. It's actually signifying the kind of breakthroughs that I achieved, as if I actually learned about talents and capabilities that I've never thought I would have. And this kind of breakthrough is really amazing. I don't believe I could be a speaker, a public speaker. I'm here talking to you guys. But to be honest, I've never thought that this is one of my capabilities. And I'm doing it, and I'm going to do it better next time. And then the second breakthrough that I really love is through this entrepreneurship journey. There are things and lessons that really expand my mind. Right? I become smarter. I'm not the smartest person in any room, but I become smarter every day and every week and every month that I do this job. So I just love it. To me, it's a breakthrough. And the third thing is about character, signified by the diamond. Last year, by the end of the year, there was a series of crises that almost killed my company. I had to call my investor, and I told them I might have to close the company down. And going through it was really, really hard. But now I'm over that crisis moment, and I look back and I see that I become a lot more dangerous. And so going through all these challenges in entrepreneurship really build up my character and my strength, and being a little bit more dangerous is good. The next thing is about the people and the relationship that you learn and you manage to build and meet in that journey. In the journey of entrepreneurship, I met so many people that I fall in love with. Not in love in a romantic way, but in love in a way where I really admire them and I learn so much from them, and we have good friendships. Of course, I also meet not so good people, but that's a part of the journey. And last but not least, when we talk about career, we want to care about income, right? We want to increase our earnings. And entrepreneurship is not a journey that gives anyone a stable increase of earning, but entrepreneurship is a journey that when you take that risk, the reward is a lot higher. For the last 1 year, I haven't been able to pay myself, but over the 10 years period, when I look back, my income go like this, right? So I know right now I'm taking a dip, but with resilience and with taking risks intelligently, I'm gonna go up. And earlier I talked about my mom wanting me to be a teacher so I can provide my family a good and stable care, right? And I still can do that, and I can do that much better with my financial ability. I'm not rich, but at least I can provide to my mom and my sister and some of the people I care about in my family, still can do that for them, even though I take a lot of risks. So in today's world, right, entrepreneurs are not the only people who are taking risks anymore. All of us here are taking risks, whether we know it or not. And so we are living in a world that is so unstable, so complex, so volatile, so uncertain, that not taking risk is actually taking risk. Just last week, my sister gave me a call, and she told me that she might not have the job that she's having right now next week or next month, and she has 2 children that depend on her and depend on the job for her to be able to provide for them. Even if there's no uncertain things in the world, things are changing, right? Technologies are changing, social trends are changing. According to the World Economic Forum, every 5 years, half of your skill will be obsolete. Right? So if you don't do anything new, you don't take new risks, you don't learn new things, you are taking a risk of being left behind. I'm not here to scare you. I'm sorry, some of you look so stressed. Relax. Risk is the spice of life, and it's a skill that we can learn. It's better that we learn to take risks than we're not taking any risks, and then risk come and take you, right? So, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to turn this into a scary talk. Risk taking is a skill, come on guys. It's a learnable skill. It's like riding a bicycle. When you first hop on a bicycle, you're gonna fall. But after that, you're gonna slowly get the balance, and then you start to go and do this. After a while, you can ride your motorbike and your car, and maybe after many years, you might be riding a rocket. So I'm here to share some solutions as well, not just to scare you that, hey, there's a lot of risk. During the journey of entrepreneurship, I have developed 3 mental models to think about taking risks intelligently. And I talk about this as if I'm very intelligent, but no, I take a lot of stupid risks. But I learned about this from the people who are more successful and more smart than me, and also from my own mistake as well. So I want to show you 3 ways to think about taking risk and to try something new, to make that leap of faith that you've always been thinking about, and to go out and live your life without being fearful, right? And so the first thing that I learned about taking risk, and I learned about this quite recently, risk taking is about having the plan to remove or eliminate or reduce the risk as much as possible, and we call it de-risking. And de-risking, here you can see, it's like a sequence of actions and things that you do, like you play with a Rubik's Cube, right? You cannot solve all the sides of a Rubik at one time, but you have a sequence of actions that you can do to solve it. So, for example, for my personal experience, last year I started Curious, my new company. And before I started Curious, I thought a lot about this, about the sequence of risks I have to remove. Starting from personal risk and then business risk. Personal risk is, hey, I know that my startup, there's a very high chance to fail. What if I don't pay myself for 3 years, would I be able to survive? Or maybe 4 years, or maybe 5 years. I told you earlier I don't like risk, so I think about it, what if I can't pay myself for 5 years? And I thought about it, and I look at my savings, and I'm like, okay, I can pay myself. I can still be alive after 5 years. If this, for the next 5 years, I don't get paid at all working on my company. So that's the first de-risk action, right? Have enough saving. I worked really hard for the last many years to get to this de-risk action. And the next thing is about my family, about my mom. What if she gets really sick, right? I gotta prepare about that with emergency fund, and I have to prepare for her with health insurance as well. And then I thought about my sister too. What if she's sick and she can't take care of her kids? So I have to think of all of the risk I'm taking personally from not working anymore and starting a new company now. And I have a whole notion, a big, long notion document about it. And I recommend all of us here, if you want to de-risk, you have to put it on paper. Same thing with business, but I'm not going to go into business detail now because you're going to fall asleep. Your personal life and your career has a lot of risk, and so you have to know what the risks are and write it down and make sure that you have a plan to re-risk it. And again, taking risks is not about just jumping off the cliff. It's not about gambling. It's really a sequence of things that you do to remove the risk out of the action that you do. The second thing to do with risk, but there's everything to do with risk, is to be very healthy. Now, I've learned this lesson the hard way. This is the part where I don't deserve to preach anybody about because I'm still struggling with this, is to stay healthy. The first one that I mentioned earlier is the intellectual activity that you can do. Right? De-risking is just on paper, writing down and analyze the risk. But staying healthy affects your ability to perform. It affects your ability to make the right decision. Taking risks is a series of decisions that you have to make. And after you make the decision, it's a series of things that you do to execute what you want to do as well. And if you're not healthy, forget about it because you're going to make bad decisions and you're going to execute badly. So staying healthy is actually much more important to taking risks than you imagine. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm very bad at this. I don't sleep enough, I don't eat enough, and I don't exercise enough, but I'm trying to change that. I sleep a lot more now and try to eat better and stay active. Recently I picked up this sport. It's called paddle. It's a really fun game. I play 4 hours per week. It's a way for me to stay active. And last but not least, it also seems to be very irrelevant to taking risks, but it has everything to do with taking risks, is to be able to build up the social capital that support you on the risk-taking journey. And why I use the word social capital and not social network? Because when we think about social network, we think about the number of friends we have on Facebook. And you can have thousands of friends on Facebook and you still don't have social capital. Social capital are the quality people that you have quality relationship with. And the keyword is quality. Would they like to collaborate with you? Yes, and that's your social capital. Would they like to help you when you need help? If that's yes, then that's your social capital. And you have to be very conscious of curating your own social capital that with people that you trust, that you respect, that make you feel safe. You want to work with them over the long term, people who are willing to help you and you are willing to help them back. And this is the base that is very important if you plan to have a career of taking risks. This is super important to me. In fact, this is the most important thing. So for example, here are some of my social circles, right? I usually build social circle one-on-one, social capital one-on-one. I love spending time with people I care about and people who I admire for their talent and people who I would love to work with in the future. So I spend a lot of time with people one-on-one, but I also try to do actions that build community and bring the people I care about, that I want to work with together so we can all help each other. So that's a small community. I like small community. People, like dinner, I used to host dinners with 10 or 12 people. And a very important thing when I think about social capital or about relationship is those are built based on friendship. It doesn't matter whether they become close friends with you and you go to their wedding or not, but every relationship that I start with and I want to maintain, I want to start and maintain it with a friendship. And that's how I built in the last 10 years, I built the social capital that support me in my career and support me in my risk-taking. So when we can do all these three things together, the risk-taking doesn't feel like risk-taking actually. It just feels like work, another day at work, or it feels like you just do things that you like to do. It feels like you just live your dream and live your life. And but it doesn't just happen like accidentally. It doesn't happen without intentional designing of your career. And you have to do this over a very long period of time. It takes years for you to be able to do all these things. I want to end the talk today with repeating the message I want to share is that intelligent risk-taking is a learnable skill. Anyone can learn this skill. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. Don't be afraid. Don't let the risk scare you and stop you from doing what you want to do and from testing out new ideas, from learning new things, and from achieving your dream. Learn to take risks like riding a bicycle. One bonus. When you take risks well, sometimes you get very lucky. And luck comes to people who take risks really well. And so this is one of my lucky moments. I have many lucky moments too, but I didn't take a photo. This is one of the lucky moments that I was invited to meet President Barack Obama on my journey of taking risks. And I just want to share with you, I didn't plan this. I feel very lucky, but it comes because I was willing to take risks. So, happy taking risks, everyone. Thank you for listening.